As we get a look at the veto here, Trav, it's going to be Mirage picked by Red Canids. It's the map we saw them pick yesterday against Gentlemates. It's the map we saw Donk struggle on against Falcons. You know, teams picking Mirage into Spirit quite consistently. Now, I don't think that's because they think there's a weakness there for Spirit. I think it's more down to the fact that it just so happens to be a coincidence that those are good maps for the teams that have played against Spirit. It's ancient for the favorites. And then if, which we certainly shouldn't, require a decider, we will go to Overpass.
Yeah, and if Red Canids do get to Overpass, remember what Shay was able to do to Gentlemates yesterday. But as you say, it would be a massive surprise if this series goes 3. This is a chance for Spirit to warm up into the tournament, feel a little bit better about themselves after what Falcons did to them yesterday.
Absolutely. Try and regain some confidence. There's going to be an exec into the safe bomb side. Red Canids keeping things extremely simple in the pistol here, trying to minimize the variance and what could then go wrong. And it's going to be Rentu to draw first blood. Tania pressured in the back lines here and towards CT. He's got some support coming through there that's actually going to enable him to keep his life intact. And Zontix will get a multi as Red Canids run into a brick wall.
Oh, that's a shame because it was such a good start. Hang on a second. Drop has an opportunity. Still a 1 versus 2. He knows where both these players are, but the mid-range dualies from Magics will close it out. And yeah, that was actually not a bad call. As you say, it was simple for Red Canids. They delayed those flashes pretty well, really blinding up the Balk player terribly. But in that they broke through, Tania was able to survive just about long enough to get Zontix in to help.
Yeah, exactly. That's the key detail, right? Is it was a matter of seconds at that point. And I think it's actually a really rough round for Red Canids to lose because when you're such a massive underdog as they are in this series against Spirit, pistol rounds become insurmountably more important. Because pistol rounds are so variable, volatile, it closes the gap between teams at that point because of, like I say, how much variance there is to pistol rounds. And that's where you got to try and capitalize as the underdog because you're going to have a far more difficult time in the gun rounds, obviously, and then, of course, when you're ecoing as well. So I feel like if there ever was going to be a world in which there'd be any chance for Red Canids to do some damage, pistol rounds were a requirement from the word go.
Exactly, and now, unfortunately, they're going to go for the full eco to play for the guns in the third, just waiting for Spirit to use some of their utility. So they have to repurchase it. So I'll take this opportunity to maybe tell you guys a little bit more about Red Canids. I'm sure there are many Spirit fans tuning in here, maybe have never seen a Red Canids match ever. You've got Cowes, of course, who used to play for Pain. He's currently on loan from Pain at Red Canids. You've got Shay, loaned from Imperial, who was brilliant in that third map against Gentlemates yesterday. We already touched on Rentu a little bit, so worth mentioning Drop as the in-game leader, of course, formerly from Furia and MIBI. He was part of that Furia team that made the playoffs at the Rio Major back in 2022. That's that Magics and Zontix going to be holding in very easily here, and there we go. They only lose 1 player. No worries against the full eco. So yeah, I mean, Red Canids, as a reminder as well, came all the way from the open qualifier through the closed qualifier. They qualified with history, by the way. Didn't even qualify with Rentu on the team. But yeah, it's been a long journey for them to get here, and I'm sure the last thing they were expecting was to play both Vitality and Spirit at this event.
Well, there was a game that I found where Drop did play against Spirit back in 2024 at ESL Pro League. And it was MIBR who beat Spirit 2-1, so maybe some Spirit enjoyers have seen Drop before. It was a big game there where, like I said, they eliminated Spirit from Pro League. Now, obviously, yeah, long time ago, sure. Maybe a stronger team even with guys like Insani in the mix as well. But, hey, they have been on the receiving end of Drop's devastation before. Do I expect it to happen again? Yeah, absolutely not. But just a little tidbit.
Indeed. First gun round for Red Canids. How do they begin their series? And what is a crazy test for them? Rentu Glass Cannon on the AWP to begin. Utility is starting to dwindle a little bit. Shay will use one of the final smokes they have for that window position. Does look like they're preparing for some kind of a B split because of the positioning of these underpass players, but they could still make their way into connector. Of course, they know that will be donk territory.
Yeah, probably avoid that at all costs, I imagine would be part of the game plan. They've checked their boxes really nicely so far with how they've progressed through the round. Efficient utility usage. Obviously, not much of a contest in towards middle here from Spirit. It is going to be Magix and Zontix who get tested over towards this B-bomb site. There goes your lurker. Drop removed from the equation, but they've advanced really far forward. Magix boosted up on the box. Will be the one to receive contact. Does a hell of a lot of damage and a kill in that combination as well. Donk tries to force the issue. He wants to get ahead of his team there because he recognizes there's that window of opportunity, but he'll lose his life out. Shiro's taking a lot of damage as he's burned to the flames. Cowways will turn in time to tear his head off, and it's Tania left in the clutch.
Huge round from Cowways. Wow. As you say, Donk really forcing the issue early. He wants to get into the game early after how he got obliterated against Falcons yesterday, and I don't blame him. But now Tania has got no kit in this clutch. Cowways will give up his life for information, but now Davides is set up on bench. Headshot angle, headshot taken. First gun round for the Brazilians, and it's the Chilean to close it.
Very good work coming through there from Red Canids, and maybe just too much space and respect being given up here by Spirit. I mean, the first time they actually kind of clock what's going on is when Magix takes contact when he's boosted up on the box, and when you're in that position, you're not normally the guy who's supposed to be taking first contact. So I feel like Red Canids have done a really good job of getting super far forward before Spirit had even kind of realized what was going on. That kill on Donk there was certainly a key frag. Donk really trying to force the issue, and it ends up costing his team quite a lot.
One of the main things that we haven't had a chance to touch on yet is the fact that Halley is not with Spirit at Rio. He has some health issues that he needs to sort himself out with, so we hope he feels and gets better. But Sotfik is with them, and of course Sotfik has so much experience playing with both Donk and Zontix and Artfrost at the time on that Spirit Academy team. He's also been the main coach and often player when he had to stand in for the Kiyosuke version of Spirit Academy as well. So, you know, if there's one person that knows these players incredibly well that isn't Halley, it would be him. So it's good for Spirit to have him around. But, of course, we know that Halley was one of the main pieces of the Spirit organization that were putting a lot of work for the calling.
I mean, this is his team, right? And it kind of feels like at the moment, Magix is more just a conduit for Halley and what's going on in the server. And I don't expect Magix to really be taking a huge amount of space in terms of dictating how the team is going to be playing until he's really been able to come into his own as a captain. I mean, obviously there was that interview from Overdrive where he said could take up to 2 years. And I think that was maybe a little bit misconstrued by the community, that he's not saying we'll start winning in 2 years. Get back to that point, because there's a big moment here with Shiro on the AWP, and he's just going to get destroyed by drop, and the first responder is Zontix, and there's not much he can do about it. I think Spirit have already accepted their fate in the round. Magix is jumping and hoping that Donk can come through and bail him out, and while Donk does get the kill, Magix goes down. And that is going to be Red Canids doubling up their round count. But Trav, just before I let you jump back in, just to finish off the points I was making there, I think it was misconstrued with what Overdrive said when he said that it's going to be 2 years for Magix to be a good captain. It doesn't mean that they get a 2-year runway and that's when they can start to expect results from Spirit. It means that for now, it is just going to be Halley's team and Halley's vision that Magix is then implementing in the server.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's a bad way of looking at it at all. Good damage here by Tania, by the way. Him and Donk both actually will limit drop to being the only man alive for Red Canids after that gun round win. Zontix will keep his Galil. Yeah, that fighting con was very awkward, mostly for Shay, to be honest with you, when he had such little ammunition remaining, and Magix is hopping around like a kangaroo, inadvertently baiting perfectly for Donk, funnily enough. But there we are.
Good start. Win the first gun round, convert against the Force Spy, tie up the scoreline, opportunity now against the Eco. Tactical timeout called early here by Spirit. It's just that there was a lot of talking from Magix in the tac timeouts last time, not so much from Sotfik, and it doesn't look like Sotfik is chiming in a whole lot, maybe a couple words coming through from him. Lots of listening going on. For Red Canids, extremely important that they come out the gate swinging here. They're not going to be making a comeback against Spirit if they start like, 8-1 down or something like that. It's going to have to be them from the word go putting pressure here on Spirit if there's going to be any chance for them.
Of course, Zontix, as I said, did keep the Galil. And as you'd expect, he drops it over to Donk. Let's see if there's anything he can do with the Galil. If it's an AK, then you know what's going to be happening. But you know the Galil is excellent. Let's see if Donk can prove it to be so. Flashing toward ramp, maybe trying to get these pistols into position to go for a push. Donk has got the wider angle with the 5-7 close, but there's no one there to receive it at the moment. Canids are taking their time and going about this early stage of Mirage very calmly against Spirit, not getting ahead of themselves, not going for anything too crazy on these anti-ecos and anti-forces. They've got space here.
A little fake thrown into the mix here. Spirit have peeked behind the curtain and kind of realized what's going on. Problem is that Donk's hero Galil is on the polar opposite side of the map where the action's going to go down. Now, there's a lot of time between this fake that's been thrown here by Red Canids and them actually pulling the trigger on the execute into the speed bomb side. And that window of opportunity now starts to close because Donk is charging in this direction. There's already 3 players in position here for Spirit. Donk is going to arrive on the scene soon enough. Not when the execute gets going, but he will be here to try and help his teammates out. Great first frag found from Davideus. Zontix's Deagle's got to connect. There's Donk. He's now nestled into the bomb site. He can be a really big problem for them to have to deal with now. It is all of a sudden the only problem that they have to deal with, and they'll make it happen.
Oh, and 3 players tagged up. 2 less so than drop, but Tanir cannot work his way in with the 5-7, and Red Canids have the lead. You joked with me before we went live, over-under on Red Canids getting more than 10 rounds in the entire series. I definitely thought over, and you agreed with me. But, you know, I think Spirit at the moment, as we saw against Falcons yesterday, sure, they've already beaten Liquid in this tournament, but every bloody team's beating Liquid at the moment. That's not really a very impressive result. They just don't look like themselves, the entire collective, recently. And they've been so inconsistent with their results.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of things that Spirit are trying to figure out at the moment. Apparently, there's a lot of players just on different wavelengths and trying to get balance within the team is something Donk spoke about, that they're struggling with a lot of different ideas swirling around. And it means that there's a big disconnect within the squad at the moment, which means if there ever was like the slightest, slimmest of chances for Red Canids to push Spirit, it would be today. It would be here on this occasion. They're going to leave their hearts on the server here at their home event. Going to have to overcome one of the best teams in the world, though, even on their off day. They've still got Donk.
But Red Canids, mate, have Davideus. We all, we as a duo have covered Davideus a lot over the years in Tier 2 Brazilian Counter-Strike and lots in South American ESL Challenger League, for example. And we know, of course, he's a major playoff player now with Pain. But now he's back on Red Canids. He's fragging a lot better than he ever did on Pain. Obviously playing lower tier South American opposition, but he's looking at the Davideus we know and love. Flash through that short smoke, and Shay will entry Zontix perfectly. Donk on the rotation straight away. Magic's out under pressure, playing jail on the B-bomb side. But there's still that lurk up top connector, and they could go back, and they are going to, I think.
Donk could cut this round down at the legs, though. Yeah, he's dropped the bomb carrier, and... Oh, it's Shiro, excuse me, not Donk. I just saw the M4. Donk was in that position earlier. Shiro making a really good play there to actually get the kill, and then he's going to be able to get the AWP as well. And if the job wasn't done initially, it should be now. Is there enough time? I think there's just enough time here. Donk is going to realize that he maybe has an opportunity to catch this player on the cross. Kawes not going to be able to get across, and now it's just about prioritizing his life. And Donk will survive long enough here to get his team across the line and tie up the scoreboard here for Spirit.
Davideus does actually get the kill, which means no one on Spirit survives winning that round. So their buy will not be good, and Red Canids will be the first people to realise that and recognise that. They'll know they've got a good opportunity here, and they're actually going to call a timeout to discuss it. As you can see on your left of your screen, the buy is not going to be good. At 3 MP9s in this gun round for Spirit. We've seen Jane call a half buy on rounds like this before.
Yeah, I mean, it is... obviously very unorthodox. Oh, he's doing the challenge, Trav. He's doing the streamer challenge. He's trying to see how many he can get in 20 seconds. What's probably not going to top own his numbers, but you're right that this is unorthodox to kind of half buy after winning a round. That is very Jame-esque. But yeah, I mean, if you're Spirit and you're such massive favorites, you're probably not going to be giving up that sort of ground here against Red Canids.
Yeah, just don't treat them with too much respect, or otherwise you could easily get caught, and they might still, who knows. It's not over until it's over. A little bit unsure, Red Canids, about how to go about this purchase. One of the main reasons why they called that half buy, or called the tack pause, sorry, to go for this force buy with the Deagle, Tech 9, Galil, and a couple of AKs. So, it was a really good play from Shiro in that previous round, really taking the initiative there, getting the bomb dropped in underpass and immediately dropping down, picking up the AWP, getting the second kill. It was excellent trading by Cowes, but there's no time to cross, and Donk puts a stop to what Red Canids wanted to try and do. And
this is one of those rounds where you take a... Oh, sorry, man, go on.
I was going to say that I mentioned the lack of quality weaponry for Spirit.
Yeah.
They're already out of util. Mr. Windows.
Yeah, Red Canids. I was going to say, let's play the game of guessing who won the previous round based on the buy for both of these teams, because this is like difficulty level impossible. Red Canids have gone B a lot. In fact, they've looked to go B every single round, bar the pistol, and then obviously in the previous, they try to pivot away from B late in the round. Now, they're going to explore into this A side. Tania goes through that A ramp smoke. He's got Shiro in tow. In the meantime, Red Canids have just slowly crept their way down the ladder into this A bomb site, and it's going to be Zontix who pays with his life for that information. You're not going to expect Shiro again. Maybe they do. You're definitely not going to expect Tania as well, but Tania's gone down. That puts Shiro in a bit of a pickle, stuck between a rock and a hard place, and he will battle back for 2.
Pretty good, but Cowes on low HP will immediately destroy Magix, and that leaves Donk last alive again. I'm afraid he will not be winning this one. Incredible work from Red Canids, really well parsed through Palace there. Walking down the ladder silently. We saw Heavy God do that yesterday for G2 and get a really clean quad kill. This time, it's a double from Cowes and a double from Drop that will secure a 4-3 lead for Red Canids. And again, just the lack of utility for Spirit and just plain weaponry really coming back to bite them there. That's the opening kill from Cowes. If he actually goes down to that CT position, that would actually make a big difference for the mid-port portion of that take.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's probably the linchpin in the round there. That kill going Red Canids' way was maybe one of the main determining outcomes of the round, even though it was one of the first kills in the round. And then I like that late activation on the player coming through from ramp. So Red Canids prioritizes a hit through Palace. And because they've got that extra man who comes late through ramp, he gets the intel, as we do follow the smoke all the way through to make sure they land it this time, which they do. Thank you, Mr. Shev and Jonas, our observers. But yeah, that late activation through ramp was also a key detail to make sure that Red Canids had the intel, that there was already one player advanced in ramp and then a second in the corner there as well. So neither of those players able to catch Red Canids off guard, as Donk will use Tania as bait on the end of his fishing rod there to enable him to get an opening kill with this hero rifle.
Yeah, this M4 that was kept over is going to try and be the main thing to get Spirit back in this, and Magix actually has made quite a bit of noise pushing forward to grab that AK, and Shay, you can tell by his facial expression on that push forward, it's been taken and they know Magix is there, and that is why Davides creeps out ramp on a timing. Good job. Now Donk from stairs, it already will pre-nade it though and destroy it. Shay, good job.
Oh.
And that's 5-3.
Indeed it is, and it's about trying to prioritize keeping the rest of these players alive here for Red Canids. One of the main struggles for Spirit on the CT side of Mirage has been trying to figure out their best way of going up, setting themselves up, because Tania has always been a catwalk player. He was a catwalk player on Gun 5, he was a catwalk player for Heroic on the CT side of this map, and then when he came into the team to replace Zontix, he was the catwalk player as well when he joined the team, and then Zwei became the A anchor, right? Now, they continue to juggle these roles around, where Tania is now the A anchor here on Mirage, and Zontix has returned back to his position on catwalk, which is where he had always played. And I feel like Tania has certainly been struggling in that A anchor role here on Mirage in particular.
I mean, getting Tania in particular into this Spirit team felt like a slam dunk at the time. I mean, we covered him so much in Gun 5. I mean, we remember that Gun 5 team with him and Yellow, who's obviously now on Paravision, was slapping people about in Tier 2. Tania was incredible. He carried that over to Heroic when it was kind of a temporary move to begin with, and he was so damn good, Heroic kept him. But yeah, it's just not the Tania we remember from those days, even against that really good Tier 1.5, Tier 1 opposition in Heroic. And it's a shame because we know what Tania has got in his locker. Let's see if he can show a little bit of it today. Even, you would think, against Red Canids, we could see a very good level from him. But Cowes waiting on ramp. Tania goes looking, will get deleted. Eventually, Zontix gets his kill from short. A rare headshot on Davideus. 4v4, but look at the damage.
Feels like they're lacking the AWP on Shiro as well. Again, they're not going to have it here. fundamental part of their defense is Shiro with that sniper rifle on the CT side, and the CT sides have been a big portion of where Spirit have actually been struggling. Their T sides have been all right, and again the defensive half proving to be a problem here against Red Canids. We've got a game in our hands, 4v4. Damage done, like you say, to both Donk and Zontix as Red Canids zero their sights in on this B-bomb site.
We smoke from Magix on a good timing. 4 players walking in for Red Canids. 45 seconds left in the round. They've got plenty of utility, not just for the take, but for the after plant as well. Magix will switch hands there, maybe to make him feel a bit more comfortable on that sort of angle. Now Zontix will shift back to help. Magix will once again put himself in jail. This is my favourite position, but it's usually only good for a 1-for-1. Ollie and Van. And they're going to try and make the push now. Zontix is here on time, but they need to get at least a killer piece here. Will that Molotov spread on bench? I don't think it will, but it's a brilliant clear from Shay. Goodness gracious me. Zontix now having to stand tall. He gets one, but he needs more, and he can't grab it. Drop will push him out of the round. 10 seconds for the plant. They're going to be okay. Rentu's got the line. He'll miss, and Shiro will get that kill with the M4. As unfortunately, one of the kind of patterns we've noticed with Rentu under pressure as the newbie to the team, he is a bit prone to the odd miss. Now Donk and Shiro in the retake, the 2 best players on Spirit to try and make it happen. It might have to be Shiro, but Drop is going to stand tall. 9 HP to spare, and Red Canids right now are in full control.
Getting loud in and out of the server as well. They're trying to add insult to injury right now and pile that pressure onto Spirit, who should never have had any serious problems coming into the series here against Red Canids. But all of a sudden, they're under the cosh, they're under the pump, and they're feeling the heat here in Rio.
Shay is starting to show us, not just on the player camera reactions, but what he was able to do against Gentlemates on Overpass yesterday. He was the key factor to eliminating the Spaniards from Rio and keeping their home event alive. It's crazy.
That bloody AWP in Shiro's hands, man.
I know, it's crazy how much work he's been doing with the M4.
Has he even had an AWP once? I mean, I know he picked up an AWP and he got that kill in lowers, but that was picked up off of a Red Canid's body. I'm not sure if he's actually started around with the sniper yet here, and we're already 9 deep on Mirage.
Oh dear. Spirit. Someone send out a search warrant.
Also, it does deserve to be said that Red Canids players are looking exceptionally sharp here in the server today, man. If we took the nameplates off, I think that was Red Canids, Spirit on the T side with how sharp they've been looking with their first bullet accuracy, their sprays, and this is all while Rentu has yet to really come online here with his AWP.
Yeah.
Going to slow things down here. Our Red Canids look to see if there's anything untoward here in the round, recognizing that Spirit will be on the low buy and maybe expecting them to make some sort of a play.
Something I mentioned to you yesterday as well, that we know that Drop has got plenty of experience playing on Furia and MIBR. One of the things that he really struggled with on both of those 2 terms was big pressure moments in big games, and he used to really fall off individually as the in-game leader, or not. He's the in-game leader here, and he's playing really, really well in a big game against Spirit. 11-5. Cowes knows there's a bit of default presence there from Magix. He's going to try now bait for Tania. They're going to clear it properly, especially with Drop coming through. There we go. Clean as you like. And this half buy is going nowhere. Rentu will get a second kill for his confidence. And it's 7-3.
A win and a half now guaranteed for Red Canids on the T side of Mirage. Sure, it's their map pick, but they could have picked any map in the world, and I wouldn't have expected this to happen against Spirit, who are looking a little bit shell-shocked right now, because not only are they behind, I mean, sure, it's still map 1, and we're still in the first half, but that pressure of them just having been such overwhelming favorites coming into the series, as soon as you check the scoreline and you're like, damn, we're down 7-3, that expectation means that the pressure builds exponentially at that point.
Yeah, Red Canids will have come into this game with nothing to lose, and sure, they did that against Vitality, but we know Vitality are pretty impenetrable. Spirit Not so. Oh, great flash in middle. The delayed one from drop at 1 minute 30. Take the headshot on Zontix. Canids will entry Tania on A, and Donk only just gets there in time. Rentu spotted on ramp. Will not choose to fight that, and nor will Donk, to be fair. So 4v3 to work with.
And again, going back to their good old faithful here, it's only Magix on this half of the map right now. Do they get a read on this to start to rotate anybody across? I mean, Magix is even focusing on middle right now. And so there's nobody home. This is probably going to be a situation where once they realize that they end up just committing to the save, unless Magix can find a quickfire double. I don't see any way back into this one. They still have residual util to deploy here in the post plant as well. Magix plays cat, not by choice. Forced backwards by the nade. And this is round over. 8 out of 11 now going red Canids' way. When do we start to panic? Do we hit that button already?
This is crazy. My word. Red Canids maybe keeping an eye on what Falcons did to Spirit yesterday and trying to take a few leaves out of that book. Shiro has an AWP, but guess what? It's only an exit kill. I think one of the main things I want to praise Red Canids for, which, you know, a separate thing from what you already have, is the fact that they've kept this extra utility once they had taken a bomb site. They can afford to throw all their players in here, by the way. There's no problem with everyone going down because they've got all the money in the world for the final round of the half. They will give that hunt a go. But only a couple of kills for Spirit as consolation.
And say what you want about them not having Halley here, about Magix being a new IGL in the infancy of that domain. This is the CT side, boys. This is where you're supposed to just have your individuals winning their duels, making good individual decisions based on their own game sense and their own situation as well, and then kind of coming together as a unit in that regard. Woo! It's anything but that, quite the contrary. It's Donk to fall first here. Red Canids on course for 9. They've been really good at converting these opening kills into round wins. Can they do it again here to really ramp this half home?
And Shiro knows he has to stick around. He needs to try and find something to answer back, but that nade almost exposed him in that pick toward under. Now, again, it's a round where Spirits have lost an opening kill and they're scrambling in the rotations. They might just get caught in transition again. Wouldn't be the first time. We've got 3 over toward A at the moment. Zontix holding on to short, having to worry about both middle and B. Tania now close ramp. Flash will come through to give him a look, and he needs to deliver from it. Thankfully, Cowers is full blind from it, and he will be able to upgrade to the AK. But now Rentu can set himself up from the catwalk position. Shiro peeks it, could be in trouble. Rentu will take it. On his S-tier event debut, he's killed both Donk and Shiro in a singular round, beyond his wildest dreams. Now Magix. Drop. Will drop, but Magix might need one more, but Damadeus gives him no time whatsoever. Ridiculous swing. And now Zontix, he might not even be called into action from short here. They're going through CT to A. It's going to be on Tania, I think. Stuck in sandwich, but he's going to be cleared by the Rentu Tech 9. I can't believe what I'm witnessing at the moment. Zontix 1v3. And all 3 angles are well set up for the crossfire. Utility used, kit available, but Rentu's going to make it a quad kill. It's 9-3, but not to Spirit, to Red Canids. Do not rub your eyes. You are really witnessing Red Canids up 9-3 on Team Spirit. The lowest ranked team in the tournament that came all the way from the Open qualifier is troubling some of the best players in the world.
Yeah, big time. They're a real thorn in Spirit's side right now. It was a 3-all scoreline at one point on Mirage, and then it was just a hot 6-round streak coming through from Red Canids, putting Spirit on the back foot, proving already that they can bleed here in this series against Red Canids.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm going to give you the old caster cliche. They need the pistol, Spirit. Not Red Canids. It's Spirit who need the pistol. 3-9 behind. They're walking in through Palace. Already a resmoke coming through there at a really good time. Unfortunately for Drop, though, he'll get destroyed by Donk. And in comes the entry man himself. Gets himself 2 off the bat. Ren2 will put him down, though. Great confidence for Ren2 after that quad kill to end the half. After he had a very slow half overall. Maybe now feeling it a little bit more. There's actually some Molotovs and some extra flashes to work with here, and it looks like Spirit want to try and attack jungle. Cowes knows it, though. Playing safe, Great tap on Magix. Cowes has been so clean so far, and there's 2 more to add to the tally. Tennille will find Ren2 on the trade, though, and Davideus is circling on the spot, trying to find Shiro, and he can't. It is now all down to Cowes in the 1v2, and I think Tennille and Shiro have got this one under lock and key, and that's a great headshot from Tennille. So the must-win pistol does go their way.
Yeah, really well done there. I mean, Donk with an explosive opening kill there through the smoke to set the round in motion. And then he combines that with the second important frag as well. Spirit then feel like they can't really commit to the original plan of taking deep CT control. So they instead reroute and try and go in towards jungle. That gets emphatically shut down by Cowes with a phenomenal double kill. Those are some really clean shots coming through from him. It starts to get quite concerning at that point there for Spirit, but they regain control and they get it across the line to set this second half in motion. Long road back for them here on Mirage, but they've got to keep that belief.
Now look at this for Davideus. Not really a boost you see all too often. And these are the rounds you really got to be careful with. If you are Spirit, you've done all the hard work. Now don't throw it away against the FAMAS, MP9s, 5.7 and Scout. Shay's even got immediate counter utility if Davideus sees anything. But the bomb's going back toward middle. It's only Tennille lurking here at the moment.
Spirit just trying to get an idea of what's going on in the round as they start to take some shape themselves. 1-3-1 split, keeping their options available. Player in Palace, player in Apartments. Both extremities covered. And it looks like they're just going to route their way up catwalk into B. Now, how do Red Canids respond to this, considering they've got 2 players in this corner? Not going to be spotted initially by Donk, but it's really awkward to try and take fights in towards catwalk from these positions, and Donk will come through just in time as he cuts the scaffolding down from underneath Davideus. That is going to enable the Apartments player, and it's now impossible for Ren2 on the Scout. Should be,
there's
at least.
one, but yeah, it was only ever going to be one. To be fair, he's done very well to get that one. Magix will find Drop, and that means Cowes has nothing to do. And ideally, you probably try and keep the FAMAS, even though it's only a FAMAS, and he will fall away. So well done, Spirit there. They parred it well. And yeah, unfortunately for Davideus, that tree trunk, as you say, did get cut down. So no impact to be had from that position.
It was probably... I reckon he was licking his lips because he hears those footsteps and he realizes, I'm about to get this jewel here on Tennille. Look at how long Tennille was in position, and then Davideus hears him starting to advance. Then just as Tennille was about to show up in Davideus' cross, that's where Donk rounds the corner and gets the kill, and Davideus all of a sudden is like, mate, why did you... Oh, you didn't run away. You died. And that means the stack is no longer assembled, or the boost at least. And that will be Spirit at least closing the gap.
And often in these sort of games, it is a little bit harder for the underdog to hold on CT side because, you know, realistically, Spirit do have way more advanced tactics than Red Canids probably have, right? And it's a very common pattern that a favourite does make a T-side comeback, even if it's the unfavoured side of the map.
Absolutely key point to nail there, Trav, especially when you combine that with the fact that it's going to be Donk on this T side. He's going to be exceptionally difficult here for Red Canids to contain and to try and win these isolated duels where they can't always be the one that are calling the shots in the round, playing at their own pace, dictating where they go on the map. Instead, they're having to receive Spirit and try and deal with what's being thrown at them. That can be insurmountably more difficult as the underdog. And another factor to consider is, of course, Red Canids would have had some hope coming into this one, but they probably also did consign themselves to the fact that this wasn't going to go their way when they realized that they drew Spirit. Then they get themselves 9-3 up on the half, and all of a sudden, in that break between halves, it's like, guys, like, we're in control. This is actually like our game to lose all of a sudden. And then reality can start to set in like, oh, damn, this is our game to lose. And all of a sudden, it's like, we never expected to be here. How are we here? What's going on? And that can start to overwhelm you a little bit.
Matt, calm down. You're not the one being overwhelmed. It's Red Canids being overwhelmed right now.
I am a little bit right now. Yeah, well, Spirit are too.
Oh, dear.
I'm a very empathetic person, Trav. I'm feeling their emotions.
Yeah, very valid. Very valid. Cowards will do well to get the kill on Zontix, but unfortunately, it's going to be still very difficult for these two digs to hold on. Drop dancing around on the bench. He's got Davides on default with him, but they should be cleared. And even though Drop does actually dig Donk out of the round, they have space. And I say they have space, I mean, Tanir's 6 HP, Magic's is 22. This was not easy by any stretch. And Red Canids can still lock them in with some aggressive exit positions here.
Yeah, I mean, any damage or any further damage would certainly be welcomed. Already 2 kills in the round. Tanir is low. They could get one more frag. That would be fantastic here, just to force Spirit to rebuy a lot of their weaponry. I mean, Shay says, mate, it's all on you because I'd like to keep this AK in play. And Kawes will find the timing. And like I said, Tanir and Magic, they're both low. Kawes is not at all trying to win this round right now. It's just about trying to keep DTs in and around this bomb. And yeah, good. There's no way Tanir's going to get far away enough, right? Not on 6 health. Maybe. In fact, yeah, only just. Oh, nope, not even.
Okay.
4 kills in the eco.
Yeah, not bad. Really not bad. Keeps Spirit a little bit more honest. Yeah, I mean, we know that some of these Red Canids players do have big event experience. I mentioned Drop earlier. Obviously, we know Kawes played big events with Pain. He's not even, permanently signed to Red Canids. He's only on loan from Pain. Shay is on loan from Imperial. You could argue that Red Canids don't even have a full team in that sense. But, yeah, they are proving that they are no pushovers whatsoever. But now, real difficulties will begin on the CT side. Ren2 has got his AWP out. He's had one very, very good round in this series. That was at the end of that first half. But it can't just be the one.
For me, it's this gun round. It's this gun round for Spirit where they'll settle back into the map if they can make it work. We've seen this picture. We've seen the story already before here on the B stream between 3D Max and Falcons, where 3D Max went up 9-1. And then on the T side of Inferno, we had that masterful comeback from Falcons, where they went on to win the map 13-10. Can Spirit replicate that here against Red Canids to dodge this bullet?
Yeah, I'm feeling a lot less concerned for Spirit now, and I'm feeling more concerned for Red Canids. I'd love to see a crazy upset, but it's going to be difficult from here, even with a 9-6 lead. Shiro will entry drop, there goes Davides, Magix will find him, and now all of a sudden Shay alone on B. He doesn't have any help here whatsoever as they're going to close in on him from short and apartments. This split is going to make him feel a lot of pain, I'm afraid. Needs to get the kill immediately on Tanir, but Tanir does not allow it, and Ren2 needs to get out of there ASAP. Kawes as well to find that kill on Magix, but even he might not be able to save. Donk almost catches him. But the gap is 2, and they will be hunting, as you say.
All right, everybody with me now. Let's have a nice deep breath, because this has been a ridiculous map so far. Okay, cool. Listen, Spirit are back. They've drawn within 2, and they're going to be feeling a whole lot better about this than they were 5-10 minutes ago. Really good for their confidence as well to battle back on this T side, go flawless so far with 4 consecutive rounds, and build themselves into this T side.
And whatever happens from here, Red Canids can say, look guys, well, we made them sweat. So we should be proud of ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
But, of course, still in the lead. They'll still believe that they have a way to win the map. But let's see. We've got that Ren 2 AWP coming in this round, even though we don't have much around it. 3 Deagles and an MP9. Actually, utility isn't that bad considering it's a half investment. Sure, looking for the jump spot.
I mean, he's going to need some kills here, or he's going to have to save the AWP, because they get 3,400. That means he will be up to enough money to afford an AWP, but only just in the next round. A couple kills will push him over the edge to get that Kevlar and some extra utility, but it's a bit of a gamble here from Rentu.
Much prefer the angle on top of the pot in ramp from Kawes. This one's a little bit easier to pre-fire, I feel like, but Shiro's creeping in, and maybe that shadow advantage will help out Kawes. Looking for one more, and Donk will drop as well. That's the bomb, but he sees the AWP on the ground, and he's like, ooh, shiny, and goes a bit too deep for it. But the round's on.
Poison Chalice in a way, but you're right, he's done the damage and given his team a chance in the light investment with those 2 kills. Kawes has been a monster here on the server. 21 frags, 17 rounds deep. Can his team finish off what he has started? Spirit to slow things down. They pump the brakes because they want to try and keep this CT side guessing as to where they're going to go. That's a big miss from Rentu. Extremely costly. Magix has heard the reposition coming through from Connector. He's going to look to close the door in on that player, but it doesn't matter because Tania will hold his own to get both those frags. Can Davideus deny the plant? Absolutely. Now with only 18 seconds left, this could cause a problem. He's got the AWP as well, and he's going to connect on the shot to finish off the job.
Davideus, there's the individual ability from one of the best Chilean players we've ever seen, maybe the best Chilean player we've ever seen. That is what we want to see, and that is the kind of round which could get Red Canids closer to that finish line. Oh my goodness, Tania did so much work, even on low HP, to get that second kill in Connector. It felt like they were under complete control for the majority of it until that bomb plant was denied.
Yeah, what's up with that positioning on the plant though, Trav? I mean, why hasn't he actually just tucked himself in behind the box completely? Because he actually did reposition initially, but he didn't go far away around enough the box there to actually completely cover himself from CT. Extremely costly mistake there from Tania.
Yeah, almost like he was a little bit flustered after those 2 kills he got, and with how low HP he was really panicking to get that plant as ASAP when he didn't need to rush it. I thought for sure Rentu missing that shot on ramp was the round-ending mistake. But now, all of a sudden, with the damage that's been done to Spirit in a couple of these previous rounds, if Red Canids win this one, Spirit have no money at 11-7 down. Nightmare.
Oh, man. All of a sudden, and they were kind of coasting back into the game, but losing that round throws a big spanner in the works. Some questionable decisions made, some mistakes made. Red Canids will open up their account here in the second half as a result. And like you say, if they win this 11-7, probably becomes 12-7. And then Spirit need 5 in a row to force overtime.
Yeah, it's been a pretty quiet game by the standards of Davideus, but impact kills are what matters. If they win a singular round, you've made up for it. And he's done it. And now on B, Drop is holding on. Donk is going to go down already. Davideus is there to help. He knows it's a short player coming through, but he's out of bullets on that M4. Now Shay is stuck. Zontix is looking for him, but he's the bomb carrier, and he's going to get caught. Bomb dropped in apartments. 20 seconds left. It's a great kill from Shiro, but rotations are in. And Magic still only has that Mach 10. He can't do anything about it. Shiro, can he even get away and save? Rentu will miss another sitter. He's missed so many shots in this game, which really makes it even more impressive. The Red Canids are winning 11-7. They're 2 away from winning map 1. After time?
Oh, and Shiro could after time. He will. He's gone unless he can connect on that shot, which he doesn't. Maximizing the pain right now in on Spirit. And you can see some serious concern looked on their faces, Donk head in hands, as they're on the brink of this first map getting away from them.
What a kill to take. Good call by Red Canids to rotate into B as they did. They had players in insurance policy positions. Again, Drop getting very important kills in pressure moments. And look at the money for Shiro. $350. He can get a smoke and a decoy if he wants. What's that gonna do ya? Nothing.
With only 2,400 round loss bonus behind them, it's not like it gets much better for him in the next. Spirit don't really have any option but to play for overtime from here. Red Canids have come alive on the CT side. Super impressive that they've been able to jumpstart their campaign after having lost the first 4 rounds with a half-buy win. That brain fade there from Tania has really caused some havoc now for Spirit.
My word.
Red Canids are on the brink of winning this first map in this lower bracket affair against Spirit. Donk is 11 and 14, Trav. Not numbers synonymous with him, even on his bad days. When you combine that with the fact that it's against Red Canids, it looks even worse.
All they're going with here is the smoke and double flash. A bomb plant will be the goal to get any extra money for Shiro. Red Canids know they have an incredible opportunity here to confirm at least overtime and have many opportunities, 5 opportunities to win map 1. Zontix will give that one a little bit of a cheeky glance, but nothing doing. Drop holding the angle. They've got full mid control with short being covered by Davides. Drop covering the under push. This plant is getting less and less likely by the second.
All signs point in the direction of Red Canids getting themselves up to map point on Mirage, their map pick. 5 of them to be precise. If they can get it done here in round 19, they've kind of realized what's going on here ahead of time. They've rotated some players across. They've got a really good crossfire set up. 2 players on the bomb site, 1 on Cat. This should be impossible for Spirit to penetrate. And there we go, just dropping left, right, and center. It is going to be Spirit who are going to have to win 5 rounds in a row to force us into overtime.
Oh my goodness, this is not clean at all. You can immediately tell, even though they're playing against mostly Glocks in this round, Red Canids are so nervous. There's barely any headshots hit in that round and lots of whiffs. They are feeling it right now because they know the position they are in. Their home event, a chance to pick up a map against the top side. What an opportunity.
Alright, Spirit. Your life here on Mirage now hinges by a thread. Red Canids on the brink of doing the unthinkable. Winning the series, impossible coming into this game. Winning a map, extremely unlikely. But now we have to question everything we know. Because Red Canids have completely shapeshifted here the entire fabric of this series.
Rentu, now would be a lovely time to hit some shots to relieve the pressure on your riflers. That one stunning quad kill he got at the end of the first half got them that 9-3, but he's been absent since. Donk and Magix have a gap. They're going to work their up connector, and that's a lovely opening on drop. And now Kawez is under some pressure. He'll get deleted immediately. And the under bulk player in Davides, surely there's nothing he can do with this one. And there we go. A double peek will come through, and Donk will get a double. So, step 1 of 5 complete.
Yeah, and made to look easy as well as they go through the motions and processes without much of a complication. Checks and balances all intact for Spirit in that round. Not much of a contest in middle, able to get a lot further forward than what Red Canids would have been comfortable with. And then just that explosion up connector. 2 kills in quick succession, then that third added to the tally soon afterwards. Rentu and Shay looking to save their weapons. Tania looking to keep them locked in.
Oh.
Great frag found from him, and he's got the position now on lock here for Rentu.
Oh, poor Rentu, getting destroyed from every which angle. So, they stay alive for 1 round longer. How much longer will it be? Red Canids are going to use their final timeout of this game. If they get to overtime, they will be given 1 more. Both teams will, obviously.
And this is what I was talking about earlier, where Red Canids may even be in disbelief because obviously there wouldn't have been any pressure coming into the series for them, knowing they're playing against Spirit. There was no expectation whatsoever. All of a sudden, they're on map point of map 1. Like you say, they're probably feeling pretty damn nervy right now. They've got to continue to do what's worked for them up until this point. One moment is all they need to conclude proceedings here on Mirage and get that job done.
And obviously for those of you who maybe aren't aware, Spirit are playing without Hallie at this event. Hallie, the coach, is having some health issues, so we hope he gets better soon. Sotfik, the academy coach, standing in, but Sotfik has all the experience in the world with bringing up Donk and Zontix and Artfrost, it would have been at the time, the main core of that academy roster. Oh, what can Davideus do? They pulled out the secondary AWP, and it's a great kill on Shiro. Step 1 in this gun round. 2 MP9s on Shay and Kawez are a little bit of a concern, but Drop has an M4. And already, with that opening kill, Spirit are leaving the A-bomb site entirely.
Great time to bring the double AWP to the table here. A bit of a gimmick for Red Canids that normally can at least get you 1 round in the half by virtue of catching your opponents off guard with that second sniper rifle. It has spilled the blood of Shiro already. Spirit now clustered together in towards middle, and Davideus continues to plague them with the second AWP. Magix has been felled, and now he's going to have to call this round from the sidelines.
Isn't it crazy that they pull out that secondary AWP and immediately it finds impact? Oh, it's going to find a third as well. Davideus looking to try and end Spirit here once and for all, but he does get a little bit over peaky. That is a freebie for Donk on the trade, but there are still 2 more CTs on this A-bomb site. Nading toward jungle, they're going to try and cross through. There's still the Kawez MP9, and there it is. Zontix removed. Donk is all alone, 1 versus 4. In other situations, I would say absolutely he wins this one, but there's no time. Still finds 2. 3 total, and an incredible headshot on Drop, surely. Not a clutch from Donk at the very last gasp. Look where Shay is. He's playing time in Palace, now he knows he's coming. Oh, it's so nervy, jumping at Donk. Who's winning it? It's Shay. They made it difficult for themselves, but there's nothing candid about that performance from Red Canids. That was impressive. Spirit are in trouble.
Oh, we nearly get that Donk moment that we so desperately desired, and you can see the look on his face, the disbelief. He cannot fathom the fact that they've lost the entire series and get eliminated by Red Canids, because that would just be completely unthinkable.
I mean, especially when you look at the Red Canids team as it stands, right? I mean, they haven't even been that great in regional South American tournaments. That's something I really want to bring up here going into map 2, right? Because Ancient coming in here, Red Canids, they have a 50% win rate on it with 20 games played. It's way more than Spirit play Ancient, because in general Red Canids play more matches than Spirit do. They're grinders, of course. But they've lost a team called Dash, which aren't a very good team in South America, a local LAN in Brazil. And they've also lost to teams like Marsborn and 9Z and Odic as well in ESL Challenger League. So they haven't really got much form on this map. If Spirit want to answer back, well, not if they want to, they have to. It should be here.
I mean, Red Canids even got hammered by Gentlemates on this very map yesterday. A 13-4 loss was what they suffered against the Spaniards. So surely this will not be done into Spirit looking to try and turn up the pace here as they charge through Donut in towards the say bomb site, and they're just going to thrust themselves straight through that smoke. The game plan was always to get the trade, and they've managed that successfully. There's a lot of pressure here from Red Canids. They're looking to try and unsettle Spirit before they actually get the bomb down, but Spirit will hold their own, and they just want to continue to force these fights. They're really looking to kickstart their campaign here on the second map.
It's a 2v2 temporarily on the A-bomb site, but Magix will now activate, and they know where he is, so they might try and force the issue a bit quicker on the A site to anywhere near that bomb, but I think they now realise they're pincered in and they're just looking for the kills, and with that option being taken, it's not going to work out all too well. Spirit are going to hold on, Zontix will get the kill, and Tanir will finish it off with a triple, and Spirit will start well on Ancient.
As they did on Mirage, they're 3 for 3 in pistols, if you can even believe it. They lost map 1 13-8 after having won both pistol rounds on Mirage. They even converted their pistol rounds as well, Trav. It's not like, okay, they won the pistol, but then they lost to the 4 straight afterwards. Nuh-uh. On both halves, they won the second round, which makes it even more catastrophic and unbelievable that that map got away from them.
The natural force.
This is history in the making, and Spirit do not want to be on the wrong side of this history.
Funnily enough, Red Canids don't have history on the team anymore.
True.
Good attempt from Cowers, but Donk was always going to get the frag, and there we go. Drops in with the MP9. Will manage to get Donk out of the round, but the force won't pay off, and Spirit forcing their way into B will pay off. It'll be a 2-0 start, and Davideus and Rentu will try and keep what they've got to have something to use in round 3.
This is good for Spirit just to settle themselves into the game here, because those cracks from Mirage would very quickly start to creep into here on Ancient if they got off to a poor start as well. Instead, with the strong start, they can paper over those cracks and start to build themselves into the second map.
And yes, for those of you who are just joining the broadcast, that dot, that white square on your screen at the top of the scoreboard, that's not a bug. It really is one map to Red Canids.
(13-8) as well, like I said, it was dominant. Gun rounds looked so good. Individuals were extremely sharp for Red Canids as well, which was very impressive. Outgunning Spirit was not a sentence I expected to say coming into this broadcast, but that absolutely was the case on the previous map. I feel like there's going to be an element of Spirit, just like I said, looking to kickstart their campaign here on Ancient by brute forcing their way through these first couple of rounds and just trying to boss Red Canids to remind them who the real boss is on the server.
Yeah, there's that sort of thought process to it, I think. I think there were certain moments on Mirage where Spirit tried to play like the dominant team. They tried to play assertive and play like they're the favourites, which obviously they are, even without Hallie on the team in the coach slot for this event. But yeah, Red Canids had a couple of individual moments. I mean, Rentu getting that crazy quad kill at the end of the first half, which was kind of his one impactful round of the game. That was superb, and then Davideus decides, well, Rentu, you're missing a few shots. I'm going to take matters into my own hands. He grabs a secondary AWP and then gets a crazy triple to help assist that final round. It's absolutely incredible that Donk attempt went down to that close a clutch with Shay in Palace. I'm baffled that it got that far, but Shay got it done, jumping around with that MP9, using that movement accuracy. You know, that was nerfed on the MP9 relatively recently.
Yeah. I mean, a 1 versus 4 in like 20 seconds was what Donk had to try and deal with, and he got extremely close to making it happen. And it was actually really good to see that Shay didn't choke that one out, because I feel like most players in that situation just almost like a deer in the headlights get completely shell-shocked and have no idea what to do. But he didn't give himself any time to actually think about it, right? Because like you say, he just kept jumping around, and then she was able to finish off the job and complete the map for his team and make good of that ridiculous multi out of Davideus' second AWP, as we now sink our teeth into the first gun round here on Ancient.
It's funny, I mean, I mentioned that Red Canids play a lot more than Spirit just because they grind out those local lands in South America to try and make the major and try and just get better as a team, try and get Rentu a little bit more experience. As a reminder, it's his HLTV debut at the beginning of the year. This is his big event debut, S-tier debut, whatever you want to call it. And now he's played both Zyro and Donk at his first event. That is not something most players can talk about.
Yeah, what a scalp this would be as well. And then they'd be one best of 3 away from getting themselves in the arena. And if you beat Spirit, that would give you all the belief in the world that you could get the job done. Simple and direct is the name of the game here from Spirit, just surging their way in towards this B bomb site. I suspected this would be the game plan from them. Brilliant utility usage there. Shay and Drop never stood a chance.
This is a little bit more like it. 4-0 will be the score, and Red Canids might not even be able to save here because I think the hunt will already begin in a matter of moments. Shiro still has that Mach 10. There's no reason for him to keep hold of it. He should be pressing W and looking for the exiting Davideus, Rentu, or Kawes ASAP. There we go. They've all left the bomb now. Made sure they've come at this saving attempt from Red Canids from 3 different angles too, so they know that there's been no one to slip a gap and get a crazy ninja or something like that. All angles have been cleared.
Yeah, these kills would go a long way as well, because if they can pry at least 2 of these 3 guns out of the hands of these Red Canids players, it means that they actually won't have enough money to justify the buy in the next. And there are those 2 kills I was talking about. And oh, no way! In the last tick of the round, Donk is going to round the corner, demolish Rentu, send him packing. No survivors for Red Canids. And Spirit have come into map 2 with a bang.
Yeah, not much you can do about that. Look at the buy they have now on the half. Back down to the 5.7s and Deagles and MP9s. I would like to see Red Canids play... Oh, there we go. That's classic Donk out middle with the transfer. That was his signature on this map for many a moon, and still kind of is in a way. He stay alive though. He's being pressured from Jaguar, but oh, poor drop.
Oh,
that's
man.
unfair.
Let them play. So well done from him. I mean, sure, this is against the half buy, but really just flexing his muscles right now is Mr. Donk. And maybe that little 1v4 attempt at the end of Mirage kind of brought him back into the fray here to a degree, because obviously he was nowhere to be found throughout the rest of the map.
yesterday.
Completely unlike what we're expected to seeing from him. And yeah, you're right. Yesterday as well was unheard of from the young destroyer. But now, 5 kills, and we're in the 5th round here for Red Canids across the board. There's a 6th at least as the ragdoll goes flying. Avadeus, have you got a big moment here with the Stairs of Eagles on the right side of the map? And he's got the pillar to play around, but he can't connect on that first shot.
Yeah, a little bit more invigorating hand slaps from Donk as well. You can tell that the motivation never wanes. He's always been very matter-of-fact in every interview he's ever done, and anything he's ever said to anyone, really, teammates or talent or any publication. He just wants to win, whatever it takes. And whether he plays badly or not.
So, not nearly as stoic as someone like Zontix in terms of what sort of emotions he's feeling. It's always very easy to get a read on the state of mind of Mr. Donk based on his player cam, that's for sure. He doesn't shy away from showing his emotions. As we see Red Canids looking to try and take initiative here in round 6, trying to open up their accounts. It's going to be Donk, though, who opens up the speed bomb site with a great opening kill on Rentu, and that's going to allow for his teammates to come through straight afterwards. A brilliant flash onto Shay, who's chased back in the corner and hunted down by Donk himself.
I think
again.
It's fair to say that normal service has resumed already. Poor Rentu is having a bit of a shocker. I mean, they had plenty of time to get that kill on ramp, but just whiffed pretty much everything, and that is probably what comes with the nerves and the hype of winning that opening map and just it being your first big event in general. Sure, it's vague comfort that your first big S-tier LAN is one in your home country. It's like he's had to travel into Europe for the first time to play this event, but yeah, he's kindly put, he's being outclassed at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, who would have expected anything less at this level of the game, to be completely real with you? Like you say, return to schedule programming coming through here with the series between Spirit and Red Canids. Fantastic start here for the favorites to try and put to bed what had transpired on that previous map. Bit of a rude awakening for Red Canids.
Yeah, and we came into the series saying we wanted to see Donk look like Donk again after what Falcons did to him yesterday. Magic's once again his comfort place on the team, as we know.
Literal right-hand man.
And yeah, already he's trying to warm back in on Ancient. Yeah, I mean, I think it's always been a thing that's been synonymous with some of the biggest talents in any world sport. They more often than not wear their heart on their shoulder. And yeah, as you mentioned, Donk is exactly like that as well. At the moment, Red Canids, I'd love to see them throw a little bit more caution to the wind because nothing is going right now. And this is a free hit on Ancient. Like, you really shouldn't be a map up anyway, even though you played so damn well. Just press a W a little bit, try and get in the faces of Spirit. Don't treat them with respect and see where it gets you. And it has got them a kill back this time on Coward.
I feel like they have I feel like they've tried that a little bit already, with their swinging in towards mid and some early jewels being taken. But you are right that I like the word you used there, free hit. I think that's a great way to describe what Ancient is for them. But right now, they're the ones who are being clapped in the server. And it's a great read from Spirit after that early death goes down over towards the B bomb site and they get that kill on Donut. They just use that to ride their way into a vacant A site. Flawless here from Spirit as they assume full control. There also was a life game from Kawes on Mirage, must be said. A 2.01 rating from him, by far his best performance against a tier 1 team in his career. Odds of that have happened, the odds of that happening were extremely low. Odds of him replicating that performance twice in one series, surely 0. So we're going to need to see the rest of the team trying to find some sort of a semblance of that level here as well if there's going to be any chance for Red Canids.
Again, they're hunting the saving players of Shay and Kawes. We're not long for this world. There goes Kawes, and Shay now stuck in Jaguar, but he's managed to Scarpa in time, so he's done well. But yeah, I mean, again, as I said before the map begun, not a good map really for Red Canids at all. They've managed to find a way to beat Sharks on the map, a regional rival. But the only regional rival they've beaten recently is Glories at that Bet Boom Circuit X LAN. Previously, they'd lost to 9Z twice, Dash, which I mentioned at that Fergie in-house tournament. And they've also lost to Marsborn. And if there are some North American fans in chat, Marsborn mentioned, that was an overtime loss against Marsborn, which was not a good look. And as you said earlier, I mean, Gentlemates destroyed them yesterday on 13-4. So maybe this is to be expected. This probably is what Mirage should have looked like. But as I said, free hit, see what they can do. But at the moment, Spirit know what they can do, and they're in full control.
It's also very good to see that they've been able to reset like this, even without Halley between maps, just try and pull the team back in line, give them some advice, just get them level-headed once again. This is going to be a big test for Magix in the infancy of his IGLing career as well, suffering a map loss like that against Red Canids and then being in a position where he has to like re-galvanize the team and get everybody with their heads back in the game and make sure he keeps his head in the game. So certainly a challenge in that regard. And a bit of a challenge here in the round for Red Canids as they're able to make something work with these weaker weapons. A couple pistol kills coming through for them. All of a sudden it's a 5 versus 2.
Lose it from here. Look at the setup they've got. I mean, even Drop will get a kill through the wood in cave. So all of a sudden, out of completely nowhere, Spirit get a little bit more lackadaisical and get punished for it. That 5-7 stack gets all the damage. Rifles can be picked up for free, and with all 5 players alive, that'll do wonders for their money.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just about to say, we have had a 13-0 on Ancients already with Na'Vi besting bait on that map 2 days ago. And I'm glad I didn't say it before this round, because then I would have been accused of obviously jinxing it. However, it's going to be Red Canids who get the round done and they make it look easy. Like you say, maybe Spirit just getting a little bit relaxed there in that round, a little bit complacent, and it costs us.
Hey man, whatever we say will always be accused of caster cursing things. I don't believe in it personally, but there we are. Watch this, Donk's going to get a crazy entry. See, didn't curse that one. Davideus will Davideus will go down immediately. And now he's going to try and press the issue even further behind the smoke. And Shay has no idea, I don't think, and nor will Rentu. They're giving it cursory glances, but Donk's ready. More ready than ever before, and look at the third. A clean tap on Shay. And he'll say bye-bye in this round. Donk's looking for them all, pushing through red. 2 players residing here, looking to try and clear every single angle. Here sees Drop. Oh, it was so close to the 4th, and you could tell he really wanted that 4th on the possible ace, but in the end, all that matters is that Spirit win another clean round. It's going to be 8-1, and Tania is rounding on these 2 saving players as well. Kawes is more stuck than a stuck thing in this corner. He's trying to brawl his way out, but he'll get traded by Tania. And now, as you can see, Donk knows this is what it is more like for Spirit.
Yeah, brilliant round coming through from him, bouncing back immediately after they lost to the half-buyer as well as a key win there for Spirit, just to make sure that there's no momentum whatsoever born off of that round win there for Red Canids. You see that graph that came out from Luz Raposa recently about first bullet accuracy?
I didn't, but I know he does good content. Educate me.
So who's at the top? Have a guess.
Is it Donk by chance?
It's not Donk. It's not Donk, which was crazy. It's Frozen. Frozen has got the best first bullet accuracy out of any tier 1 player, which is just ridiculous. Donk is obviously right up there, but it's top 3 Frozen, Rops, and Donk.
Well, there you go. Save Frozen. Any agreeers on that one? I'd imagine so.
Just everybody watching this game, no doubt.
Good kill from Shay. Tanair will go down. Get a couple of consolation rounds at the end of this half. 9-3, 8-4. This will keep them in the conversation. If it's a 10-2 or 11-1, we know it's 100% cooked. It'll be a nicely cooked meal for Team Spirit to get to Overpass ASAP. And I said earlier, right, I mean, we were thinking that Overpass would never be happening between these two, but Shay was brilliant against Gentlemates on Overpass yesterday. If he can rekindle some of that, then we might still have a game rather than what we are expecting to be a bit of a walkover in map 2 and 3. Drop's holding on really well here, though. He gets himself a double on Donk and Zontix. Now Kawes knows what's going on. He might choose to push ramp here, one of the more unexpected places to be at this stage of the round. But look where Magix is. And Rentu, even though Magix is last alive, oh, he's got a freebie, but now I don't think it's going to have any impact in the round, thankfully. Never mind. Rentu reads it well, falls all the way back, even making noise with it, plays it a bit safer, and gets a nice kill. So that's 2 for Red Canids.
Yeah, really well done coming through there to at least get themselves a second run and try and give themselves something to work with going into the second half. I mean, obviously, even if they win these last 2 to get 8-4 on the board, that would be far from desirable, but it means that on paper, they haven't lost the map in the first half.
Lane about to be taken. Pretty fast opening to the map for Spirit with how they went about things, and it looks like they're going to run it back here, and Kawes was not ready. That's more of the explosive Tanair we saw from the Gun 5 and Heroic days. No holds barred, B bomb site taken. And sure, the Red Canids rotation is multiple on shelves, maybe go for a flank, but Zontix is still there to hold for that alongside Shiro, and that smoke is covering it off. Make that retake impossible. So even with the money in the bank they've got going into the final round of the half, they're already committing to a save because they know they're probably going to be hunted anyway.
Yeah, true. I mean, they have been already at one point in this half. It's Spirit going back to their good old faithful. That's just been their default when they've lost a round. Is all right, let's just brute force our way back into B. As you say, they catch Kawes completely off guard by progressing forward before he's even been able to drop that smoke. So they're already way advanced ahead of that smoke grenade, get that kill on Kawes, and with one frag, that's already round over. And now, I mean, now it is map over in the first half. Even if this is 9-3, there's no world in which Red Canids are going to be able to come back from a 9-3 deficit on the T side of Ancients against this informed Spirit who have looked a hell of a lot better. Donk online, the rest of the team doing their job to a really good level as well. Far more convincing.
It is, and right now the focus is just getting themselves out of this small hole they have dug for themselves, but they'll know it's only a very, very small step on where they want to be. Mentioned that their form, how inconsistent it's been since those changes that have come through to the team. You know, I think I was pretty happy that they brought Zontix back and moved Tanair into something a bit more comfortable, but it hasn't really panned out that way to begin with, and it's looked very uncomfortable overall for the entire team. At least this game, which should have been way more comfortable than this, is looking a bit more free for Spirit here. Davides is going to try and make something happen with the M4 in middle this time, pushing around this smoke. Donk looking for the late entry on this occasion, and there's nothing you can do sometimes when Donk is on the other side. Another example of it there.
Nice lineup there from Drop to actually take down his opposite number, IGL versus IGL. Not really a duel, more just a frag coming through there from Drop to bring it back into a 4 versus 4 as Spirit will set their sights in on A. Donk left to his own devices on middle. He's going to have to hold this ground here to try and circumvent any rotations. Try and keep this donut player focused in on middle as well. Not a duel you can be taking when Donk's in this sort of form, but Shay says, I don't care. destroys him, and that's going to allow for him to now turn his attention back into A. He's going to drop this advanced smoke to give himself a bit of room to work with, but Tania will deny with a really well-timed spray. Smoke doesn't completely expose the planter, and Rentu with the no-scope on the follow-up, though. Extremely unlikely on that second attempt, but he's actually gotten the frag.
Zontic needs to make something happen from Temple, but he's going to look away as soon as two players encroach in his position and then just ignores it entirely. Okay, Zontix, bit of miscommunication there maybe. What can Shiro do with the rifle behind default box against Rentu, Drop and Kawes? There's one tap. Looking for a second, he's going to get encroached upon by Rentu. Shots have been missed, but Drop will figure it out. The Red Canids do manage to scrounge a third round at the end of that half. They got a 9-3 on map 1, they won the map, but Spirit are 9-3 up here. They should win the map. We'll see if they can in a few minutes. More like the Spirit we know and love, both in the server and out of the server, with the attitudes on the side of Donk and Magix. But the support between the two of them, they need it right now, because there's still a map down. They haven't secured Ancient yet, but it should be done in a matter of minutes.
Absolutely the direction that the game is trending in right now. Spirit's in complete control, and there should be no world in which that wanes here on Ancient, completely destined to take this to the decider, which would be Overpass, and will be Overpass, shall I say, with all the confidence I have in Spirit finishing off the job. And, I mean, they may be on the CT side, but that's not going to stop them from attacking here in the pistol.
Yeah, already having a look in middle to see if Red Canids are preparing for a shout, but they're going to see the Jaguar stack instead. Now Shiro with the dualies, immediate double kill. 2 guns are better than 1, and maybe he's going to get 3 kills. Beautifully held And now Ren2 and Shay are left a little bit confused about what to do next. Ren2 might be the player with the utility, but the unfortunate part is now he's got no teammates around him to use it for. And that bomb, of course, also dropped on the edge of Jag. Try and put a molly in there to force a couple of players at bay, but Shiro is not being cleared, and maybe it could be a Shiro moment here. There is 4 going for the reload, almost jumps at the last player with the knife, but who cares, because Donk's there to help. So, important round to start the second half for Shiro. A nice quad to get them to double digits.
Sheriff Shiro on the scene slaughters the foxes. My goodness, he goes hunting and he does a brilliant job by finding all of those kills. I mean, the fact that he's even able to get those first 2 frags initially and then he even has time to get the smoke grenade out and then get the pistols back for that 3rd kill was just sublimely done from him. 4 for 4 in pistol rounds now, Trav. Spirit have had not a single loss. They haven't had any problems in that department throughout this series.
No full eco.
And now... yeah, just the Glocks for Red Canids.
To breathe.
All they've got.
What did you have to fuel yourself for the broadcast today?
Oh boy, I had quite the meal. 4 eggs scrambled beautifully into some toast with cheese on top, an avocado, and a tomato.
Okay, I didn't expect that to be that extensive for that answer, but...
I know.
You don't disappoint me usually with that... with those answers, I've got to say.
I've been eating some big breakfast lately, man. What about yourself? What did you go for?
I went for my classic sandwich and some crisps because I'm British, you know, and all that.
Love how you emphasize British with like an even more
Yeah,
British
I pronounce my
accent than what
T's,
you
man.
normally
I
speak
pronounce
with.
my T's. That's all I'm saying. I do it properly.
I appreciate that. I won't lie. Otherwise, I don't know if you're saying 3 or free. Either way, what I know is this round is free for Spirit. It's 3 rounds for Red Canids and 2 away from Spirit taking us to a
full
decider.
eco done. Now we can actually cast the game again. Actual interesting round upon us. Let's see if Red Canids can show something on a slight recovery, or if we're going to speed run to Overpass. (11-3) the score. And this is going to keep the MP9. No AWP for Ren2, unfortunately. And it looks like Red Canids might go for something a bit pacier off the bat. We know how easy it is to hold W onto either one of these 2 bomb sites on Ancient and get onto the sites quickly. And Donk will only hold on for 1. A bomb site taken. Davides' luck actually does find Magix, as we can see him retreating from middle now. But Zontix has dealt with Ren2, and that's an annoying one. That's a bomb on the floor now that they're going to have to creep forward to grab, and a lot of time on that smoke is elapsing.
They've also double mollied, so that's going to cost them an extra piece of utility to work with, but at least Avadeus will find that frag on Zontix, who is just frustrating them through from CT. Tania now in Donut. Is he going to look to try and make a play? If he goes through, he might be able to deny this bomb plant. That's not going to happen for him. Drop will get his gun up, but not in time to deal with Tania. Thankfully, Kawes is on the scene to restore calm and get the job done, as Red Canids will keep themselves on Ancient for a little bit
I
longer.
said earlier about Red Canids maybe throwing caution to the wind and just giving this one the good old college try. And I think going for that rush A there was that. And I'm glad to report it hasn't failed too horribly. There's that Davides lurk I was talking about. Great replay to catch that. Kawes will hold on for some more impact after how good he was on map 1. As you said, repeating that is pretty impossible, and he's not repeated it, but something to talk about there on the hold. Now, Spirit's money is on the edge of being broken, so we could have an 11-5, and if we do, it should be 11-6.
That would make sense, considering the financial status here for Spirit and Red Canids. They're looking to make moves early on in the round. They've already scaled 4 players up through middle, just waiting for that smoke and donut to fade, and that might be their moment to then look to accelerate. But it's Donk who's on the scene with one of these 3 rifles, and deep space has been taken by Zontix in A main, and there's no pressure on him right now. So he might be a really difficult player to try and uproot if they do commit to the exec. But this one lone smoke here is going to be enough for Red Canids to reroute and reassess the situation.
Donk's job in that round, or in this round thus far, was to just jiggle Donut and see if they were advancing. In the end, his presence alone, his aura, have kept them at bay from Donut, and Drop is going to do the damage instead. They burst their way through Red Room, And the help from Shay to take Donk out to make sure that Drop didn't get caught on the secondary angle works really well. Zontix now alone on A. And Magic's alone in Jaguar. Red Canids now just need to group up, make their call. And they should have that 11-5 I was talking about. Can Zontix be a bit of a snake in the grass here? There's one. Shay was low. But now they know where he is, and they should be enclosing upon him from Donut. They've got utility to use on that position too. Zontix does find one more, but now the Molotov will be an issue. And that plant should be able to come through. The lurk from Canids works well. Find Magic's advancing. That's twice now Magic's been caught by a Red Canids lurk. And Zontix will be trying to get out of there.
Yeah, well navigated here from Red Canids. As you mentioned, the aura from Donk and the smoke grenade as well forced them back from Donuts. They decide, okay, let's try and rather take this through middle, and then it's a really good flashbang to set those two players up that were advancing through Red Room. That was a Ren 2 flash thrown there. I think it was Drop and Shay that then combined really nicely there to actually get that control, get themselves a flurry of frags. 3 kills in quick succession here between them. Sets the round up brilliantly. And at this point, Red Canids, they just try to keep Spirit here for a little bit longer, kind of deprive them of some of that momentum that they've built up throughout Ancient up until now, and try and hype themselves up as well to improve the mood in the camp if they could, you know, get 7, maybe 8 rounds here on Ancient before they inevitably lose the map, compared to what would have been losing like 13-3 potentially. You just feel a little bit better about yourselves, and that can help going into map 3.
Exactly. Full Eco coming in here so we can give you the A stream update. G2 did beat 3D Max 2-0. Quite a comfortable one as well. 13-6, 13-1. Some Pius and Mattis leading the way. And Tak once again playing very, very well. The lack of pressure maybe on G2 at this event, with some Pius as the interim in-game leader. Nertz is that secondary caller with that help. Is making G2 perform at their best. Good kills from Zontix here. Rare headshots with the dig from him, but he will go down to Kawes. Now, let's see if Red Canids can keep this comeback trail going.
Also, that means we have confirmation of what will be our lower bracket final match here in Group A, G2 versus the winner of the series. And that would be for a spot in the Rio, at the arena at Rio.
Pharmacy Arena.
On stage. Yes, sir. That's what they're playing for right now, is to book themselves a date with G2. And that would be later on tonight, by the way, Trav. That means 2 best of 3s in one day.
Well, in current form, I'd pick G2 over Spirit, if I'm completely honest with you. Even with Tak. Anyway, fast play coming in here, already mid-control for Davideus, and he does best donk on this occasion from Shell. Finds Shiro as well. And they're starting to work their way back into this game. Kawes playing around this smoke. Magix, or they're going to bypass each other, but Magix gets his vision back first. Now there are 2 more players where that came from. Davideus looking to find one more headshot, and he does as Tania tries to come and help out. Deleted by the Chilean goat. 3v2.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out what to do here, because they saw Zontix earlier on in the round. They saw that he was the one that retreated back through Donut. Ren2 holds the flank. Really well done. They recognize that they've got to force these CTs to make some sort of a move. Ren2 punishes that move. They know that Magix was over towards B not too long ago. And so they will just charge across over at A, that vacant bomb site. And that's another gun round going their way. So maybe they're prying the door open ever so slightly, just trying to get their foot, jam their foot in between the frame and the door, and see if they can ask some questions here of Spirit on Ancient, which seemed like it was a formality at one point. You could also see the miscommunication, by the way, in middle in that round, because after Donk goes down, Zontix decides that he's not hanging around. He looks to retreat back through that smoke. At that moment, Shiro goes through the Red Room smoke to fight in middle. So Shiro and Zontix on completely different pages at that point.
Davideus will close it with a quad, and there'll be no saves for Spirit. These from the Davideus POV. That hop up on the little shelf near Jaguar to get that kill on Tania was particularly clean. And of course, Davideus knows what it's all about. Getting into a major playoffs in the Americas. Making one with Pain. Going all the way to the semi-finals. An incredible tournament for him. Now back on one of his older organizations, where he really made a name for himself on Red Canids. And he's fragging as good as he ever used to.
Yeah, again, some of the biggest and best names in the world, making it even more impressive. Going back to the point I was making as well, I mean, that has kind of been one of the big issues that Spirit have highlighted, is that they're frequently not on the same page. And we could see it there in that round with how Shiro and Zontix weren't really able to combine as well as they probably could have in that situation. Making plays that kind of contradicted one another. The CT side has been where Spirit have been struggling, and maybe, just maybe, we're seeing those issues creeping in here on Ancient as well.
It's these sort of...
They'll still be breathing easy, but not much if they lose, not a whole lot if they lose that next gun round.
Obviously, an issue if they manage to find this round, but these often can get out of hand, even from these sort of positions. Zontix MP9 big shadow advantage, and now Shiro is here with the P250, but Zontix has to watch into that main position. He can't help because he's occupied by Shay, and even though he does take Shay out, the A bomb site's taken comfortably. And Donk may get a headshot, but it's only on the retreat. AK for Magix to grab after Donk gets that kill, and I'm sure that will be dropped over to the man himself in the next round.
$11-8 makes for far better reading than 11-3 ever did, that's for sure. Seemed like it was a closed case at that point. If they win this next gun round, all of a sudden, I reckon there's a little bit of a cause for concern at that point. This is going to deny some of that momentum that Spirits had built up with all the success they had throughout the majority of the map preceding this little fight back coming through from Red Canids.
We spoke about how Cowhead's had a bit of a lifer on map 1. I think it's important to mention for me that Drop is playing very well as an individual while being the in-game leader. Something that I touched on at the beginning of the series is that often Drop has really fallen off individually in big pressure moments, in big tournaments, when he was in-game leading / just playing as a rifler for Furia and MIBR. But he's having a good one here when it matters to try and keep his team alive in his home event.
It's been really good throughout the tournament so far. Been very impressive. Where's the flash? He's going to go straight through. Dry is the name of the game. That plan's never going to work out against Donk, who does the damage with the triple. Made to look easy as usual. And that should set Spirit to get themselves up to map point.
Back to 2KD, and again, as we saw earlier, he's hunting for more, but Drop will put him down this time. They've got to be a little bit careful. 2v5s can get out of hand. They do know Drop is stuck. That is the Donk we know and love. Especially on Ancient, just controlling middle all by himself, pretty much. Rentu and Drop now working their way up ramp. It's their last port of call, their last option, really. Rentu does have the bomb on his back, does have utility as well, to be fair. But there's still two players here. Magix has got the line, he's got help from Tania. Every angle's being covered. They have got up a very long way, though. That's going to be a nice clear for Drop. Unfortunately, let's go down for his trouble. So, Rentu, the new boy, S-tier event debut, but wall banged out of the round. There's not even a chance for a plant and to be set up, and that is what can happen at this level.
Yeah, I appreciate the effort there of what you were trying to set up yourself for Rentu in the 1v3, but just denied before he can barely even finish punching in the digits. It was a really risky approach, trying to walk through the smoke at that point. I mean, Donk at the worst of times is still able to find multi-kills from those sorts of positions. That's as easy as it's going to get for him. And now 4 chances here for Spirit to seal the fate of this map and take us to Overpass to settle the score here and see which of these two teams will be eliminated here at IEM Rio 2026.
Drop will creep past the Jag smoke to help clear up middle. That is the extra prong that was kind of missing. They had it, but Donk deleted it in that previous round. And now Magix might be going for the peek forward. Bit of a gap on that right side to work with. And now Drop knows he's close, trying to get that damage through the paper-thin walls of Jag. Going to fall back now, though. The bomb is dropped still outside middle. They haven't made a call yet at all, have Red Canids. Still just holding in their default. The booster might be clear red room, but no one at home.
Yeah, Spirit are saying we're not going to give this one to you by just clashing straight into you at the start of the round and then maybe just losing this by virtue of Jules. You're going to have to come and get it. And you've seen the high-low setup in Cave with 2. Well, how about the AWP in the mix there as well from Shiro? There were 3 players looking in that direction. However, Red Canids have been able to find a big gap here as they carve their way through middle. And Spirit have got no idea that this is happening right now. Penny will start to drop for Shiro as he starts to consider it, but the attention is being kept on B by this little bit of a fake that's being thrown. Are they setting themselves up for a B split? They very well may be, and that will keep Shiro's attention away from middle. And now, off the back of losing that party, making their way up ramp, they decided they actually have to try and shift their focus in towards A. Zontix on the tree, and then you've got a player who coops himself up in Temple. Zontix will show his position, and then that allows for Donk to step up with the brilliant double kill. As Spirit have got their campaign back on track as they bounce back.
And that is more like it from Spirit and from Donk. He was completely shut out of play by Falcons yesterday, and in this opening map, even though he almost had that incredible 1v4 at the end to try and save.
And with Spirit bouncing back the way that they did on Ancients and looking a whole lot like the team we'd expected coming into the series, I don't think that's now going to be derailed again, because sure, it's one thing to have a slow start and get completely off guard. Maybe they were complacent coming into map 1, just expecting to dominate on Mirage and coast through the series. They then get that rude awakening. They look really good on map 2. Now surely they remain locked in and finish off the job, right?
You would think, and of course, something that you mentioned yesterday, Overpass, Orpa's map, Rentu is not really looking like the player that he wants himself to be at this level. He's been really struggling throughout this entire series, and when you've got Shiro as your counterpart to go up against, maybe you can expect that, especially on your big event debut. But he's going to need to show up here to give Red Canids any chance at all.
Absolutely. Red Canids going to be starting off on the CT side as they did on Ancients, and I think it might be really difficult for them to try and contain Spirit on this T side. Sure, Overpass T side, generally speaking, is quite difficult, but I think that the pace and ferocity that Spirit are going to bring to the server here might just completely blast Red Canids out. And oh boy, if they hadn't already had a good enough chance with all players alive on the server here for Spirit as they get the bomb down, they've been able to boost the player up into heaven. At least Kawes will draw first blood, and second added into the mix as well. A bit of a resistance put up by Magic though. Magic's rather with a quick fire double will certainly help. No kit in play means time is of the essence.
He'll go down, and Drop and Shay will do some good work. And now Zontix is 1 HP from heaven. That bomb is being defused, but it was just in vision, and they might get all the kills, but I'm afraid for Red Canids it won't be enough.
Terrorists win.
Oh, well done from Zontix. It felt really awkward when he was so low on health, and all of a sudden he was the last man left alive. That boost into heaven ends up paying dividends as Zontix is able to get 2 key kills there from above and find the frag on the diffuser just in time. That was the necessary kill. His prioritization was on point. And it's Spirit who come out the gate swinging here as they pick up on Overpass where they left off on Ancient.
Yeah, Force Buy will come through. They have enough to get Shay on the M4. That's what the update to give you $50 per kill gives you. The extra opportunity to buy a bit more if you actually do get all the frags in the pistol, even if you lose the round. 3 MP9s around the Rentu Scout as well. And I'll mention it one more time. Pretty crazy that it's his debut in a big event, and coming from the Red Canids Academy after only playing a couple of events prior, 1 LAN as well in Sao Paulo. That was pretty much it. He's already played an Intel Extreme Masters against both Zywoo and Donk.
It was either Spirit or Falcons here in this lower bracket game, so it would have been super difficult regardless of who he came up against. A trial by fire for Rentu in only his 2nd LAN event of his career, and he's got a hell of a test ahead of him here over on the A bomb side. A force buy back from Red Canids to try and respond to the pistol round where they had lost it out. He is the only man here right now, and he's fallen back into bank.
Yeah.
And this should be impossible for him to hold on by himself with only a scout.
Yeah, unfortunately, this stack will not be successful unless Rentu does something unbelievable, or Spirit second guess themselves and go back B, but I don't think they're going to be doing that. They will focus all of them on A now, and that nade does critical damage. Poor Rentu. Not even given an opportunity to shoot 1 bullet. shifting away with that scout. We could have a bit of a unicorn round here. I mean, Magic is on the hunt, which means he may be able to get a kill on Rentu as he shifts away toward B, but they are committing to a 5v5 save here, are the CT side.
Now, I really like their decision not to actually try and shift the defense away from B. They gamble stacked on that B bomb site. They bet on black. The ball swings around the board and it lands in red, and so that's unfortunate, but it means that they will be able to keep all 5 of their players alive here and save their money and still effectively have a 4-sport set of weapons to work with. So I think it's some good decision-making, the think tank there from Red Canids. Rentu able to get far away enough to survive the bomb explosion. It's going to be Spirit who go up 2-0.
Yes, a compilation of the entire round from Cowards' POV. That's all he was able to do.
That's how I listen to my voice notes. 2x speed.
That's unfortunately sometimes the reality of professional Counter-Strike. If you guess incorrectly, that's what you've got to do. Anyway, Spirit will be very aware that they have exactly the same purchase in this round as they had in the previous. M4 on Shay still in play. They might not know about it. And guess what? Cowards is in the same role again.
Can we get a counter going of how many times he's had to jump here in these past
Do you think
few
he's
rounds?
a mouse wheeler or a spacebar jumper?
Oh, I hope for his sake this is a scroll wheel jump going on right now and he's not having to push space every time.
I'm a disgusting spacebar user, I hate to admit.
Just outed yourself, Trav. Why would you do that live on broadcast, mate?
Hey, man. Hitting headshots is what matters. Rentu can't, though. And, oh, he gets a tag, but, yeah, no 360. Trick shot to work with here.
We'll give him some style points.
But no kill points, I'm afraid. Rotation up is pretty quick for Davideus, and Tanir is close. Thing is, Davideus is very exposed from bathroom, and as soon as these players creep up, they're going to catch him in the side. Does well to find one. He's got some help, actually, launching into the action, but that help will now be deleted as Donk finds drop. And Shiro will manage to just clip Shay out of the round as well. And Cowards is a smoke and a kit, but there'll be no ninja possibilities here. He's buying next round anyway. He might give it a look, just for the hell of it.
That's the only chance, right? That's the only way he could conceivably win the round is if Spirits exit the bomb site early, he gets a kill on one, drops a smoke while defusing, and makes some magic happen. It's definitely his plan and what he's hoping for. One player already making his way down to B. Second following suit, but he's going to have to run from here, and that's the problem, is the steps are going to be heard, and oh, he hasn't even gotten himself close enough, unfortunately. He shies away, Trav.
Disgusting.
That will be the 3-0. Yeah, indeed. Unfortunately, doesn't roll the dice. Some damage done, at least with a couple of kills coming through from Red Canids as they're going to be buying up in this next round. It's Spirit who come out the gate swinging. Can they get this first gun round under their belts as well? Because that would really solidify their strong start here on Overpass.
And yesterday, when Red Canids were able to beat Gentlemates in that game we covered on the B stream, it took incredible moments from Shay on the T side to get that game one for Red Canids. And is that really replicable? I'm not so sure. So they needed to get a handlehold in the game here very quickly, otherwise it's going to be disappearing from them. Expectedly so, but you know, they've had a chance given to them by their brilliant Mirage, and it would be a shame if they went with the whimper.
True. Because they weren't able to bring nearly the same sort of ferocity to Ancient with what we saw out of them on Mirage. But, I mean, that was to be expected, considering the struggles they've had on that map in general. Tanir going to have a duel offered up to him. It's a really good understanding of the angles here from Kawes with the position that he's taken up, that he can't be spotted from lows and that he can just step out and immediately force that fight. But he has lost Avadeus in water already. Spirit look to build themselves in this round, now taking some shape. They have kind of kept their options open with Donk feeling out towards long and Tanir in lowers, but with the time ticking, they're going to have to make a decision, and it looks like the B bomb site's where they're going to try and finish this round.
And Rentu playing from pillar He has to get this opening kill. He's whiffed a few of these from this position already, and even more so now Cows has gone down. Oh, it's going to be awkward. They should just get completely enclosed upon. Zontix will find drop, and Ren2 is so stuck. Oh, it's so uncomfortable to watch. Usually in those situations, your riflers are there to support you. So his like complete committal to that position looks really ugly.
Yeah, all his friends were dead. And unfortunately, that makes it super awkward for him. Much like the sign suggests, no playing ball here for Red Canids just yet on Overpass, as they remain on a duck. That kill there on Kawa's, I think, was the really key frag in the round there to completely open up that B-bomb site. There was even a team flash in the mix. Zontix got completely blinded up by a flash thrown over Monster Tunnel, but he was able to regain his vision in time. And that makes it impossible for Ren to left to his own devices. Not able to do the Guardian.
No, that is the thing that my brain goes back to every time I see that position with an AWP. And the dream is real as he mounts all 5. Mouse sports are no more. Isn't it crazy? I can remember the Castle Lions from like 2016.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. Props to you 10 years ago. It was a completely iconic moment, though. There's a reason it's called the Guardian, because really only one man's capable of piecing those sorts of moments together.
Good times.
Right, Drop. What do you got for the team here? Absolutely not the start that they would have been hoping for. I mentioned that, obviously, generally speaking, the rule of thumb is you love to start on the CT side of Overpass. But I actually think when you're such a massive underdog like Red Canids are in this game, I think there's a weird case to be made to actually want to play on the T side first, or maybe it's more so not wanting the big favorites to get to start on the T side, where they get to come into the map, dictate the pace of the game. I know it sounds crazy, but I've seen it happen all too often where you have this massive disparity between teams, and when the favorites start on the T side, they just run away with the game by getting to, like I say, dictate the pace, play on their own terms, warm up into the game as it goes on, and not have to remain static and wait for the game to come to them. It's what we saw happen on Mirage, right, where Red Canids started on the T side, completely blew Spirit out the server. Not saying that would happen here again, but I think it's really tough to try and start on the defensive half against an already warmed up Spirit.
Another 4-man setup on B for Red Canids, and another round where Cowes is committed to his role. Poor guy. That's how he spent the entire map so far, it feels like. Either that or saving. Anyway, it's a similar setup. Ren2 alone on A with the Scout. Spirit, no, they don't need to just run in willy-nilly. Take their time, set up on long, use the utility around bathroom to block off green bin, block off truck. They're going to work their way in now. Shay's there to help. Actually, there is a rotation a little bit quicker this time. There are going to be 4 players on site. They could be locked behind some utility still. Actually, Shay will hold on to find Magic. Says drop with 1, but it's a really important kill from Shiro in the end. USP of Ren2 will drop, however, and that will call it. 5-0.
Navigated from Spirit, despite running into the numbers on the A-bomb site, they make light work of the defense. Like you said, an important kill coming through from Shiro to really alleviate the pressure and basically hammer the round home. Clean shot there from Tanir to finish off the job. 5-0 indeed. Red Canids starting to run out of chances here in this first half. If they can't win this first gun round, then the rot really starts to set in, and it feels like this becomes completely impossible for them if it isn't already.
Yeah, maybe took her just a little bit for Spirit to warm into the game today. Feels like, unfortunately, this third map might be a bit of a damp squib of a map. But I'm hopeful for a closer game. We shall see. Shiro going for the classic towards short, getting ahead of the utility, going for the peek from the sandbags. It's going to be a good nade. And Shiro will go down to Kawe, so that's a change up. Boost coming through with that nade that did perfectly counter it. Banked off of the girder. Tanir and Zontix tagged down low.
An opening kill for Red Canids is a rarity here since Mirage, especially one that doesn't just get immediately traded. Now, Magix is going to try and find a timing. This is just dry contact. This is them not wanting to give up the game as to actually what's going on. Magix is going to cross in towards the corner here and probably remain posted in this position. No need for Red Canids to go advancing, though, with that man advantage already in play. They're going to want Spirit to come to them. 3-man set up on the bomb site itself and 1 player in heaven. Donk is hoping that with the utilities dumping in towards that bomb site that he might be able to pull some of the attention away. It's a really good flashbang there, but thankfully for Kawes, he's got Davideus in support to keep him alive. A kill will eventually come back here for Spirit, but it should be too little too late.
Davideus has also taken up the position that Kawes was playing, and that is exactly what works out for his second kill on Tania. Good job from Red Canids. They're in the game now. They're comfortable until you get that first round on the board. It's a cliche, but it's true. And as I said, that's exactly something they put into practice on their B-site defenses yesterday. When they lose that Barrels player, they'll creep Davideus into that position. Maybe it could be the other way around on occasion. It could be Kawes being the one to bait. And we've seen them play head down on that position to hide their player model and try and get a couple of cheeky kills. And when they're going overlooked, that time there was never really any risk in the round, though. It was just a bit of an insurance policy to get Davideus that frag.
I've noticed Donk has actually been playing the extremity quite a lot on this map so far. He's often almost been like in a weird lurk role where he's been by himself on the top side of the map. Obviously, there's a lot of space there for him to work with, and that's what you want with a player like Donk, where he can try and force those duels and back his mechanics, try and find some 1v1s. But it is quite interesting to note that he's often been just like left to his own devices to feel out the opposite side of the map to where his team is going to try and finish these rounds.
There we go. Rentu's got one. He's hoping he's going to get some more, a bit more permanently, rather than just the singular. But Zontix has entryed Kawes again. Davideus playing the same position, but they'll know he's here this time. Lots of mollies in water. It's a very obvious position he will be in now toward Barrel. Rentu's here on time. He's got to hit some shots, and these flashes are still going to be very awkward for him to deal with, and they're really encroaching on this position. Drop has dropped in to help, though, and Davideus is doing a great job once again from the barrel position. 2 quick headshots. Rentu does hit his 1 shot, and Shiro is not going to be attempting this one.
Yeah, unfortunately, Spirit actually missed their window of opportunity with the exec. They were looking to try and force themselves into that B bomb site. Had they continued to commit after they'd entered the B bomb site initially, it would have only been the Barrels player that they had to contest. But because they just decided to slow things down and respect the smokes at that point, that's when we see the rotation start flooding through from Red Canids. They get 2 players on the bomb site, they get 1 in heaven, the util starts to be deployed as well, and they completely stifle the attack. Needed to see a little bit more of a killer instinct coming through there from Spurs, I reckon.
Yeah, a little bit stalled. And we've seen that work before. I mean, there was actually around yesterday that Gentlemates put together, right? Where they just waited behind those smokes and with that patience were able to break through. It was a bit of a gamble. But Spirit, it didn't work on this occasion. Red Canids were fully in control and read it perfectly. Zontix through short already. Short control imperative on Overpass, as we know. And he's already going to put himself in that corner.
Yeah, Spirit have exhausted their funds here with an investment in round 8. If they lose this round as well, then Red Canids should draw within 1, and all of a sudden the decider is well and alive at that point. Couple consecutive rounds going the Brazilians' way. Can they add 1 more to that tally to break the finances here for Spirit? This one's worth 2. 2 for the price of 1. Everybody loves a good special, and this is certainly one of them.
Oh, the boost on the default box for Drop to have a little look, and unfortunately it doesn't work for him. It's a good kill from Zontix to grab. Now Rentu feels like he needs to make a move, and there are many players coming his way, and he could get caught from that connector swing. Shay is there with him. This is going to be a hard flick to hit for Rentu. Bomb coming his way on the back of Magix, and the setup is good, but it relies on Rentu entirely, and he will connect with it. That's a really nice one on Tania. Now we're, of course, worried about some bathroom progression, and he'd be absolutely right to be worried about it, and Donk is too ready for Rentu to swing. It's now on Shay. He'll get 1 in the back. I say get 1 in the back. He's not completed it yet. Finally will, but he's out of bullets, and look at Zontix creeping through. Kawes are trying to make a play. Not going to happen. Magix finds Shay, and Davideus is on the smoke near green bin. The bomb now going back toward B with that site being clear. unfortunately in the wrong position.
Oh, what could have been had Shay gotten that kill on Magix. That would have been the bomb dropped and the round thrown into disarray. Magix will hold his own though and get that key frag to then create that space. And obviously with the space being taken by Zontix with getting that kill on Kaways, they realize that B is the best course of action. And Davideus, just by virtue of almost being trapped, probably has to attempt this one. They've got some money to play with, so why not? He starts to creep his way forward. Nothing on offer. Magix will eventually swing to get some information. And now Davideus wants to try and force the issue because he knows that there was one player towards that A bomb site. So he's trying to isolate the jewels, but it's a really good timing on the peak there from Zontix. He knows Davideus has just gotten on the bomb. He's probably going to try and tap it there to draw players out. It's exactly what Zontix is relying on as he steps out and gets that kill.
Yeah, it's basic, but maybe a lot of lower ranked players would think, okay, we can't lose the round from here, just hide and we'll win the round. But sometimes it is a better decision to peak on those sort of timings when a player's making noise running in, when they're not ready for the swing, when they might be, as you say, in the process of looking to try and tap the bomb. And it worked well for Zontix. Spirit up to 6-2. Red Canids have money via the last couple of rounds they've won, but they don't get a 6-6 half. I am not entirely confident, and really, realistically, if you look at previous games on the map, 6 on T should be enough for Spirit already.
Yeah, they're going to want more. They're 6 inside of 8 here. They're going to want to try and put Red Canids away in this first half. And if they can win this gun round here in round 9, they're basically on the brink of enacting that already, because then they go up 8-2, and that's completely an unassailable lead. What's the game plan going to be? It looks like thick and fast in towards that B bomb site coming through from Spirit. Do they just continue the charge? They absolutely do. Flashes over the top. Donk leading that charge right now. Surging forward. Knows he's got players trapped in towards the back of the bomb site. It's really good flashes coming through from Spirit to keep Donk alive for a little bit longer, but it's a couple kills that go back and forth. Tanir's going to start to run out of ammo, but he will get a kill before he does. Kaways trades positions with Tanir, but you've got Magix on the spot there to get the kill necessary and gain full control. That was all over the place, but it will be Spirit who come out on top.
That was an absolute kerfuffle on B there. That was very hard to track for both teams, really. But in the end, Spirit break through. And as you say, just too much presence too quickly. They weren't really ready for it, and Rentin's about to die. To Shiro. No staring at each other like we saw with Martinez and Shay yesterday. That clip went pretty viral. But as you can see here, Kaways almost made a play. Look at Tanir, had no idea, but just not clean on the kill on Magix, unfortunately.
Some brilliant T sides here from Spirit so far on both Ancients and Overpass in particular. I mean, was it 9-3 or 10-2 on Ancient?
I think it was 9-3.
9-3, I think, right? Yeah, so 9 out of 12 rounds there in the T side going Spirit's way. Here, 7 out of 9 rounds on the T side going their way as well. Got to give Magix his flowers here, especially without the coach. This has been all him with some really good calling, great direction, some good ideas coming into the rounds. And even when there's been some spanners thrown in the works, they've still been able to come up with solutions and adaptations on the fly to figure out those difficult moments. This one here for Red Canids, certainly a difficult moment. A light investment with the round loss bonus behind them means they can dig a little bit deeper into their pockets. And Spirit immediately recognize that this is going to be a lower buy, so their best course of action is to probably try and exploit some longer range jewels. Back up towards the A-bomb site they go.
Look, smoke will now come through with that long presence. And Zontix is already up to front bathroom. Bomb is with him, and some of that extra utility will now be used for a proper execute on A. And once again, Rentu is in a very similar position, just not being as assertive, doesn't want to be when all the utilities flying in. And I get it. Davideus has a flank, but with an MP9, can he really activate it? It's going to be checked at some point as well, and Rentu is already creeping away, so it might only be exit damage here for Davideus. Zontix creeping up. Let's get the kill. Now down to half HP, and they're about to trade him. They're actually running him down for that trade. Tanir wants nothing to do with it. Good entry from Shay, but Donk's going to hold on. That switch to the weapon for Shay to grab the AK is awkward in the corner, and Tanir will help out. They're just bouncing off of each other right now. Tanir and Donk, great teamwork. And Cowers is going to give this one a look with damage on Tanier and Donk, but it's only consolation kills, and Donk will not miss, as he so often does.
Yeah, well done from Spirit there in the post plant, because as soon as they identify a threat, they just all immediately zero in their focus on that threat, right? Like you say, see Davides in bathrooms, okay, let's charge him down, let's get that kill. Then they recognize that the next threat comes through from bank. Okay, we just overwhelm any players trying to come through from there. We stack up the numbers, and that works the trick as well. Red Canids never really able to set foot back in that A bomb site. Spirit, 8 out of 10, now just 5 rounds away from surviving the scare here against Red Canids.
And definitely a tougher test against G2 later tonight. They're going to have to be on their game for that one. G2 have looked really good in Rio thus far.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the shock of that first map they lost against Red Canids could serve Spirit in a weird way, just to jolt them all back into action.
Yeah, that's a good call. I need to break the smoke again, but Tanier is going to cross into Con. More of an advanced angle for Ren2 on long. Seems like that's one of his favourite positions to play from with the AWP. One of the safer ones. I don't blame him on his big event debut. Once again, I think Spirit are going to look to run this one back. They know that the executes have been working well. Now Ren2 is going to try and play from the edge of the site instead. You will find Donk, important opening to grab. Hasn't got much space on truck to work with, though. Being burnt down to 45, and the flashes on Shea are really good, and in comes Tanier. Oh my goodness, an absolute wipeout on A again. Even with the opening kill from Ren2, they still can't hold on.
For a team that have been, I was going to say extremely poor with their flashes in recent times, but just straight up barely throwing flashes on the T side, that was a really well-constructed round from Spirit, using the flashes brilliantly. You see, boys, you see how much easier it is to take duels with players who are completely blind? There's a lesson in there. Oh, did you see the observer?
Yes,
He gave it a little nod.
Indeed.
Cheers, mate. It's crazy to see, though, on the stats that have come out recently, how Spirits are, out of like tier 1 teams, the team that by far used the least amount of flashes.
Terrorists win.
It used to be that.
Super effectively used.
Used to be the Nafany way. Not anymore. If anyone who's been watching Nafany on TDK, you'll know that he's completely changed that thought process. Any TDK enjoyers, maybe?
You got one of them right next to you, proverbially speaking, just on the other side of the planet. But
Yes.
you know what I mean.
I mean, how many miles is it from London to South Africa? I'm not sure. I haven't done the math.
I mean, I know the kilometers. I think it's about 9 to 10,000, I would guess.
Not bad. I'll walk it. See you in a minute. Quick push in towards short for Zontix. He's going to have control of it already and could catch the jump spot. Close. But no cigar.
Dangerous. It's also really important that Spirit gave themselves so much breathing room here before they go to the CT side, because the CT side is where they've been hamstrung lately here with this team. It's where they've really struggled and been underwhelming, been underperforming on the defensive half regardless of the map. It's their T side where they haven't really dropped off as much. So the fact that they've already gotten 9 rounds here, potentially even a 10th, but I don't think that's going to make any difference in the grand scheme of things, has certainly done themselves a massive service.
And very, I guess you could say, set piece based from Spirit. Now they're doing one on toward B. There have been lots on A, and now they're choosing to finish off the half with a bit of variance. Donk will get tagged on the jump across there. Now he'll know there's a bit of presence in that bathroom position. Canids holds on, needs more than the one though, and can't get it. And just like that, both B site players taken down. Site open for business, drop ahead of the utility though. Doesn't want to overpeak until he's got a teammate in support. And not taking a tag to the molly will make up his mind to go for that path. But Ren2 smoked off, and with Zontix taking the headshot on drop, that is going to be that. Ren2 knows this half is over. 1v4, and there's nothing you can do. USP, a team dink coming through, but Spirit won't care one jot. You can see Wicadia there waiting in the background. He wants to play his game, and he might be able to in a minute. Spirit are up and looking comfortable once again. Normal service resumed for Team Spirit in Rio de Janeiro. They had a massive scare on map 1, and Red Canids looked like they were loving life. But now it's a little bit of the opposite, I'm afraid. And Team Spirit should be working their way to that lower bracket to be facing G2 later on this evening. The game's not done yet.
Yeah, thankfully for Spirit, it's a best of 3. Obviously lost map number 1, did not go according to plan whatsoever. Winning 1 map for Red Canids was extremely unlikely. Going on to win the series felt impossible. A miracle would have been required, and it certainly is now. Being down 10-2. Feels like Red Canids are a couple moments away from being eliminated from their home tournament. Shiro was devastating with the Julies on Ancient, but this time, he's only going to be able to get 1. So Red Canids at least give themselves a chance here in the pistols. They start to push in towards A.
Jigs behind the smoke. Molly for back dice comes through to block it off, but they are going to be jumping into Magix, and it gifts him the two most free headshots of his life. And then Donk arrives on the scene. And now they're loving it. Easy for Magix, and they just get gifted headshots.
Oh, I'd love to see that again in a replay, because that must have been pretty crazy, honestly, with the USP up close like that, with 2 players leaping in on him. That would have been, I think, a very impressive couple of kills out of Magix, and if the job wasn't done already, it certainly is now a formality from here for Spirit to get themselves into that match against G2 later on today. Winner of that gets themselves into the playoffs and will play in front of the crowd on the stage at IEM Rio.
Yeah, it will annoy Spirit to have to play more games than maybe otherwise they would have wanted to confirm that arena spot, but look, it might warm them up even more. Who knows? Kinnear holding on with the MP9, about to get jumped on by Shay, but Magix is there as well. He was helping out on A on the pistol, now he's on B to stop the push. Drop trying to tap his way to victory with the Tech 9, but he's about to go down, and Kinnear will launch himself at him and just absolutely run him down. And Spirit are running down Red Canids at the moment. Comfort 12-2, and yeah, it's just a formality from here, as you say.
Well, thank God they've survived the scare, because it seemed like they were spiraling at one point. And had they lost this series and been eliminated, this would have been the worst loss suffered by the Spirit organization in the past 3 years, and the worst loss suffered by this team since they added Donk into the mix. They haven't lost to a team outside of the top 50 since Donk has joined the team. Not in the best of 3 on LAN, at least. That would have been a completely shocking result, but not going to happen here today. 1 more round is all they require to get the job done and book themselves that date with G2 later on.
Donk wants the speed run ending. They'll get traded by drop. A little bit of life left. Spirit shouldn't get too ahead of themselves here. Just play it as you usually would. Finish off the game properly. Magix accidentally drops down there, and Kratos will lose 8 HP, but you won't care one jot.
Yeah, this is what we had anticipated coming into the series for Red Canids, I'm afraid. And you know what? At least they gave us some goddamn entertainment. That was crazy cinema what had transpired on the first map of Mirage. A 13-8 win for Red Canids. I've never seen their players look so sharp. Kawe's had a ridiculous performance on that map, but they've certainly reverted back to the mean since then. Spirit have gotten better and better as the game has gone on. And it's just a matter of getting a couple more kills, and that would see Red Canids exiting the competition.
Yeah, a shame, but I think, Red Canids have nothing to be really upset about. They came in as the biggest underdog. They came all the way from the open qualifier. Nice shot from Ren2. That could open up the B-bomb side a little bit. Now only Zontix is here to try and defend it against 4 players coming his way. Flash to clear Monster, but he gets both Kawes and Drop, looking to hold on. Oh, Ren2, not a clue about what's hit him. And Zontix has deleted them all. Magix is on site, and Shiro will clear it from heaven. Spirit get the job done. Red Canids have nothing to be embarrassed about. They've played really well in this series, but in the end, we all know Spirit are better, and that's proof.
Spirit survived. That would have been, like you say, upset of the year, upset of CS2 maybe. I mean, there's been some crazy games that have happened, and this definitely would have been right